Hi, so my name's David. I'm an artist. I make paintings and drawings and sculptures, music and videos and all kinds of stuff. I grew up in Tasmania in the early 80s and I didn't really know anything about art. I'd never met an artist or been to a gallery or had any art in the home. So it's kind of weird to kind of find myself in a dream job where drawing is pretty much all I do. I don't really have any other responsibilities. When I was at school, I was really into maths and things like that, so I didn't really have to feel like studying a creative career or pushing towards that direction. I always felt like school and work kind of sucks and you wait till they finish until you do the things that you love doing. And I was doing a lot of that in my spare time. So by the early 2000s, I was studying at university in an IT degree, doing a bit of coding and stuff like that. And I found myself doing a lot of street art in my spare time. I ended up traveling a lot because of that. And by about 2005, I'd settled in Melbourne after living in England and traveling around a fair bit. I'd started to exhibit a lot. I was acquired by the National Gallery and the ABC made a documentary about me. I was making a lot of books and art had really taken over. It'd become a career without really choosing it. I'd found myself in a position of a new way of working and living and learning. So I had to seek out mentors to teach me how to be a good artist or where to put my efforts. And I ended up becoming a mentor myself. I had to surround myself with a strong community of creatives in Melbourne, good friends that would be honest with me and help me with my work, lead the way, I guess. I realized after about 10 years into doing this, I was going to be able to make art for the rest of my life, and I know that's a rare and privileged position, so I had to really take that on as a full responsibility, as a way of protecting the thing that was really important to me, making art and drawing, really. So I'm the kind of person that doesn't really need a boss. As an employee and a student, I wasn't a very good person, maybe not very disciplined and motivated, but I found as soon as I was able to quit my job and be my own boss, I was a lot more driven as a person. I was fitter and healthier and more productive. I was able to take full responsibility for choosing the kind of work I did, and also taking full responsibility for things that didn't work out. All the mistakes that I made were teaching me a lot. So I was also able to choose who I worked for and kind of choose the types of projects that I'd work on that aligned closer to my morals, instead of focusing on what's the fame or what's the right thing to do as an artist or the popular thing. I was able to move away from some of that. Which isn't everybody's choice, I guess, to do that kind of thing. So I'm going to list a few of the projects that I've been part of over the last 10 years. More in the last 5 years, I've been able to transition to longer-term projects instead of doing heaps of short little bits and pieces of work everywhere. I do things that take a few years. So this image is from the Hepburn Wind Farm, which is a wind farm about an hour north of Melbourne. It's a community-owned wind farm. It was the first of its kind in Australia. The community owns it and it powers the region, so they asked me to put a face on these turbines. The community loves to come and touch the turbines and wave to them and stuff. I like the ownership over it. So my team and I camped out under the wind farm and painted these giant murals. They're about 20 meters tall. The towers are about 60. So I had to teach myself how to do that kind of stuff. I also traveled to Arnhem Land with Gautier to make a film with some Indigenous elders there that comes out at the film festival later this year, mid-year maybe. It's called West Wind. So a lot of projects come to me, but some of the projects that are more self-driven come out of my sketchbook. I'm always drawing and I record ideas. So when I've got space to work on something, I go to my sketchbook. I made a body of work about Matisse. Everybody knows Matisse, right? And I'm a huge fan. So I started to make some fan art, and that led to doing a lot of research and reading, just things you do in your spare time, I guess. It led me to Vence in the south of France. I went on a pilgrimage trip. I wanted to touch Matisse's last work, which is a chapel that he made. As he was kind of dying in bed, he made this last piece of work. So I wanted to go and visit it and touch it, to meditate on it, and do a lot of sketching and drawing. So I produced a body of work, mainly these large watercolors. Then I built a replica of the church. It's about 14 meters by 8 meters. It's about 100 square kilometers of cardboard, and that was the exhibition that I put on with my commercial gallery. They found me a space, and for about 3 weeks, the installation of this chapel was built. To house the body of work and the sculptures that were shown there. And I made the stained glass windows as well, I guess. I like how temporary that was in nature. It was really special to kind of go to a lot of effort to build something that only exists for a short amount of time. That's really good. I guess I just move on to the next thing. after that. I like doing these things that start off as a really small thought and then turn into something that's really complex and involves a lot of people and a lot of learning. So I thought I'd sum up with some really quick things about what I've learned as working and living as an artist. Again, I know it's a really rare thing, and I think it's kind of mysterious. Maybe you don't even know how did I get to do this? I can barely speak about it. It's really vague in terms of things. So I've got really good at the boring parts of life, answering emails, doing your taxes, cleaning. They're so boring. I get good at them to move them to the side so I can dedicate all my time to drawing. I try to turn off my phone and get to my desk and spend a lot of time by myself drawing, mainly. Making art, I guess. Making a living from your thoughts and feelings is a pretty intimidating kind of personal thing to do. It's a weird thing to be doing. So I work really hard to protect the thing that I'm really passionate and that is really integral to my way of processing the world. I try to be really protective of that, and the way that I work around that, I kind of make sure it doesn't interfere with the true kind of passion, the childlike kind of wonder that is really the core part to my art. I've got a bit of spare time, I guess. Oh yeah, and I also try to travel heaps and get out of my comfort zone. That's really important to the type of work I do. It's also, a huge privilege to be able to do that kind of stuff, I guess. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.